If you are constantly finding yourself in power struggles with your kids, you are not alone. I know how exhausting it feels when everything turns into a battle. Meals, breakfast, nighttime, bath time, even playtime. It's hard. You want to have some sort of control over the situation, but your kids are stubborn. They know what they want and they're gonna fight until they get it. And it's really hard to go either to one extreme, it's my way or the highway, or going to the whole other extreme where you're exhausted and saying, you know what, here it is, do whatever the heck you want. I know, I get it. Honestly, I've been in both sides of the story. Traditional discipline methods, being the controlling parent or being the permissive parent, usually have a lot of gaps that I just don't want to pass to my child. For instance, being the controlling mom about yelling, saying this is the way that we do it in this house. I don't really want to relate with that type of parenting style just because I want my daughter to feel safe in her own house. I adore my mom. We have a great relationship, and I think I always say it because, you grow up, you do your work, you heal yourself and your relationship with your family. But yeah, I have an amazing relationship with my mom right now, and I understand more of her story too. But when I was growing up, she was a very, very controlling, and I never really felt safe in the one place where every child should feel the safest. And I don't want that for my daughter. I want her to feel like if there is a place where she can speak up, it's home. If there is a safe place for her to come and tell me what she wants, what are her needs, it's her home. And I want to be that place for her. Now, sometimes trying to be that place for her becomes into the whole other extreme where you go to be way too permissive. You're like, all right, it's whatever you want, please don't cry, all feelings are allowing, and then we confuse this idea of we allow all the feelings with we allow all the behavior. That also has a huge gap that I don't want in my house because I want to mirror and model to her how to set boundaries by setting boundaries myself. There's also this part of a child where they need the boundaries, where they need the structure, they thrive on it. Developmentally, it's a need for them to have structure. So I want to be able to provide that for her. And that's when we come back to the question of, all right, we don't want to go to these extremes, but when I'm in the middle of a freaking power struggle, I don't know what to do. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 things I do, 5 tricks, tips, whatever you want to call it, that help me go through power struggle moments with my daughter. So let's start with my strategy number 1, and that is offering limited choices. This one is very common, but it simply works. I used to do this since my daughter was like 10 months old, and she's now 4.5, and I still use it. Now, I want to clarify that the reason why we have a lot of tools in our toolbox is because sometimes you need different ones. I have some go-tos, but sometimes those don't work. Sometimes, if they're tired, they need something else. If we are with a family, they need something else. If they're at school, they need something else. So it's good to have all of these different strategies and then use them as you need. So here's how the choices look like. Instead of telling my daughter, sit down and eat right now, I can offer her few choices. I can be like, do you want to use your pink plate or your blue plate? Do you want to help me bring the plates, or do you want to help me carry the salad? Do you want to sit down next to mommy or next to daddy? The good thing about choices is that it gives the child this little sense of control, and they really thrive on it. They really like to make choices. Now, when you have a toddler like that's older, that can tell you more than what they want, you can face things like, no, I don't like those choices, or no, I don't want to do that. Abby right now, for example, she tells me, no, I don't want any of those bowls, but I want this one. Awesome. If that works for me, it works for you, great. I want you to notice here that there is something that is non-negotiable, and that is that we need to sit down and have dinner, right? So make sure that you don't give them option about that. If there is something that you don't want to negotiate, don't negotiate it. Having dinner at 7 p.m. is not negotiable, but we can negotiate all the details around it. that's where you can play around with the options. For instance, if Abby comes to dinner and I'm like, we're gonna have dinner, and she's like, no, I don't want to. Non-negotiable, honey, we're gonna sit down and have dinner. Now, you can help me bring the bread, or you can help me, carry the salad, or you can, choose whatever plate you want. So be mindful, and what are the things that you're willing to negotiate? What are the things that you're not? And then I think the final step for this to work is to actually follow through. And in all of these strategies, following through is the most important thing in my experience. Following through is not about telling your child who's boss. It's more about helping your child trust what you're saying. When you say no and you mean no, then your child learns to trust that whatever you're telling them is true, that they can rely on you. And it also helps them set boundaries for themselves. When they say no, means no. My strategy number 2, and once again, I've been using this since Abby was very little, is the when and then strategy, or the first and then strategy. And it follows something like this. If they want to do something, but you need them to do something else, you can give them what they want if or when they do the one thing that you need them to do. For example, I want to go out and play with the dog outside, but you need them to finish the dinner. Instead of saying, no, you can't right now, which the no is usually a triggering word for you and for them. Nobody wants to hear a no. Instead of giving a triggering no, saying, no, you're not going to go outside, you can say, sure, first, we're gonna finish dinner, then we're gonna go outside. And the good thing about these empower struggles is that the going outside doesn't depend on the parent anymore. It depends on the child and their behavior. And so they're learning consequences. If I want to do this, I need to do this first. And that's how life works. Once again, my advice is always follow through. If they don't finish the dinner, then the consequence is not going outside. A lot of parents ask me, what if they don't go outside and then they throw a tantrum? And that's where the power struggle kind of starts. I want this. Mama said, no, I throw a tantrum. Mama whether goes to controller or gives in. Here's where I, as a mom, need to make a decision on what am I gonna do when this tantrum comes, because when you start doing or trying something different, tantrums will follow. They're gonna come and they're gonna push back, but then we need to figure it out. How are we gonna deal with the reaction to the consequence of their actions? And this can be a whole other video on how to deal with tantrums, but just know that in the beginning, when you try something new, as I said before, it's just gonna get worse, right? They're gonna try to push back. But the more you allow the big feeling to happen, give a safe space for them to express those big feelings. Now, remembering that all the feelings are welcome, not all the behaviors, then they're gonna go through the cycle of their emotion. The feeling's gonna rise, and then it's gonna go down, and then it's gonna disappear. And then if you allow the feeling to follow its cycle, it's just gonna go away. But what's gonna happen after you practice this 2, 3 times, 4 times, your child is gonna start noticing, my mom actually is following through. I can actually trust that when my mom says I need to do this, then I get my reward. Then next time, I'm just gonna simply do it easier. Or if I'm not doing it, then I'm not getting what I want. All of this happens, of course, subconsciously, but kids thrive in repetition. I don't remember who said this, but it's so true. Things usually get worse before they get better. You try something new, and then their behavior, tantrums, whatever, increases. But then if you keep going and keep going and keep going, the behavior usually goes down, because now they know that this is reliable, that this is what happens when I do this. And then they get to trust your word. So I know that it's really hard to go through the big emotions after you have to set a consequence, but it is very important for you. And I think that none of these strategies work if you don't follow through. Number 3, get down to your knees. Sometimes just making eye contact, sometimes just the kneeling part of the conversation gives your child a sense of safety. And it also gives you as a parent the opportunity to pause there's a little signal sent to your brain, like a hey, let's pause, go on your knees. That kind of de-escalates the situation. It also shows that there's no one superior. And usually when there's a power struggle, there's kind of a war, a competition that someone needs to win. And when you go down on your child's level and you talk to them, it sends this signal of we're on the same team. We are both trying our best. Creates this beautiful container. Now is about being on the same page, being on the same team. And going back to this sense of safety, a lot of times we fall into power struggles because kids feel disconnected. A lot of times they can't really tell you what they need because they don't really know yet how to process and regulate their emotions. Man, we are adults. And we don't even know how to do that ourselves. So, they're just learning about all of these feelings, and all these feelings sometimes are so big and overwhelmed that they're like, what the heck's happening inside me? I need my mom. And they don't know how to express that with words, so they throw tantrums. They start conflict and power struggles, and going down on your knees helps you reconnect to your child. Hey, we're on the same team. What do you need from me? How can I help you? I'm here for you, honey. Let's do this together. And it's fascinating how just by doing that, simply kneeling down and just like have eye contact with your child, how just that little piece of connection can de-escalate a big situation just by telling them, hey, hon, I'm here with you. We're on the same team. It's beautiful. My next strategy is use fewer words. This is especially true for kids under 6. In my 5 years that I've been coaching moms, I've seen hundreds of cases of moms that have a situation with their kids, tantrum, power struggle, whatever you want to call it. And the moms come to one of my sessions and they're like, I don't know how to say it. I told them that hitting is not good. I tried to explain to them that the older kids, get hurt or it hurts, and I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, how old is your child? It's like, it's 2 or it's 3. Of course, they are not going to get it because before 6, the frontal cortex of your child's brain is not yet developed. And that frontal part is where all the rational thinking happens. So trying to explain to a toddler something that's happening or the reason why this is happening, unfortunately, is a waste of time. And it can be very frustrating for you, but you have to understand the information that you have and the information that your child has is very, very different. Sure, you know that when you hit someone, it hurts, but it's because you have years and years and years and years of experience. Your brain is completely developed. Your child, on the other hand, they don't have the same experience that you. They probably don't understand yet the concept, the meaning of the word hurt. When you use fewer words, you spend less energy trying to explain something that is only gonna get you more frustrated and overwhelmed because probably it's not gonna compute inside your child's brain yet. But also, kids learn from experience. Children are little sponges. They are absorbing absolutely everything. And the way that they learn the fastest is by experiencing all of these situations, not by words, but with actual real life experience. By saying fewer words, understanding that your child doesn't need that right now, and understanding that the fact that you're not explaining the why doesn't mean that you are allowing the behavior, you are going to help the situation to escalate. Because when you start saying exactly what needs to happen and why everything happens, your child is just there probably confused, and confusion can be very overwhelming for them too. So the power struggle can probably escalate even more. When you say fewer words, but you use your body, your hands as a protective shield, or, as taking something away that they can't have right now, it's easier for the situation to just de-escalate. Now, if they have to go through the emotion and have, their own cycle, that's okay. You're still gonna be there. Let's go back to one of the examples that we were mentioning before. For instance, let's say they didn't finish the dinner, so therefore they can't go outside. So instead of you saying, baby, we can't go outside because you didn't finish your dinner, and finishing your dinner is very important because all of these food have so many nutrients and I want you to grow strong and happy, and that's why you need it. You need your protein so your muscles can grow. You need to do this, and then unfortunately it's too late, honey. I need to do the dishes and I need to do this, and imagine all of this information, and I get it, the intention is, though all of that's true, unfortunately, and if we are talking about a baby, a toddler, they can't really understand all of that. So instead of that, you can say, you didn't finish your dinner, therefore we can't go outside. That's it. And then wait to see what happens. Sometimes they're like, all right, I get it, I didn't finish my dinner. Sometimes they're like, what? Me personally, when I have all these big emotions, instead of saying a bunch of things that are probably only gonna trigger her more and trigger me more, I just simply serve as a safe space for her to just go through her emotion. I know, you really wanted to go out. That's very disappointed. I'm here whenever you need me. And then finally, my strategy number 5 is let go of the need to win. I get it. You know what's best for your child, you know what they're supposed to be doing, you have all the experience, but sometimes I just want to have some sanity and some patience left instead of just winning a war that is just simply going to trigger her more and then leaving a sense of guilt in my heart. I choose and pick my battles. There are fights that I choose not to fight. For instance, Abby there was a time, not anymore actually, but there was a time where she wanted to go to sleep wearing a dress instead of her PJs. And I'd be like, sure, whatever, if that makes you happy, if that's what you want, go for it. There are times where we want to go outside and I'm like, Abby, you gotta take 1 or 2 toys. She's like, Mommy, can I bring 3 toys? Sure, take the 3 toys. Sometimes she's like, Mommy, after dinner, can I have more snacks or snacks before bed? Sure. I don't always need to win the argument. When you let go of that need of winning an argument, man, everything feels lighter. I would love to know if you have other strategies that work for you. Please share them in the comments below. I bet other moms can benefit from that. And if you are looking for more strategies, a place where you get to learn a little more of these, if you are new to all of these positive discipline, gentle parenting thing, you have no idea where to start, I have an amazing course, 7-day positive discipline plan. I will share the link in the description below, and I will also give you a nice discount code if you feel like you want to learn more. It's very, very affordable, so please go and check it out. I love you, moms. Thank you for watching until the end, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.